Begin. Okay, I've started recording. Um, so let's begin. Welcome everyone to Peace Through Action USA's second speaker event of 2023. I'm glad you decided to join us tonight. Tonight we are commemorating Black History Month, and we're doing so by viewing an exceptional spoken word poetry performance from a National Poetry Slam champion, and we're going to hold an engaging community conversation to conclude the evening. This is a really special experience. It's a one-of-a-kind event that we haven't yet had, and I'm personally thrilled. Mallory is one of my favorite people in the whole world, and I consider him one of my best friends. And that said, his merits speak for themselves. And so I'm just really thrilled to have him here tonight. But first, we're going to review the event arrangements. I've shared my screen. Just if everyone could give me a thumbs up if you can see. Yes, okay, thank you. So we're going to begin at 7. We're a little past that now, so we've already gotten ourselves started. The event is being recorded. If you do not wish to disclose your name, your voice, or image, just please change your participant name, mute your microphone, and keep your video off if you so choose. That said, if that doesn't pertain to you, come on and join the fun. That said, please do keep your microphone off for the majority of this conversation, the majority of the presentation. There will be a time for us to have dialogue at the end. You may type your questions or comments in the chat. Please reach out to me via chat if you have anything pressing that you want to bring up. And otherwise, feel free to table it because we'll have a time at the end to go over that. Yeah, speaker view, gallery view is recommended. Introduce yourself in the chat if you wish. I know this is exciting for me because it seems that we have people from really all over the country here tonight. So yeah, please introduce yourself. Let us know where you're from, share your name, location. If you're affiliated with an organization, let us know that too, because we're always looking for partnerships and really eager to explore that moving forward. So thank you for joining us this evening. Tonight, we are going to honor Black History Month with a very special presentation from Mallory McHenry. We're going to be exploring the power of personal narrative as told by a National Poetry Slam champion and just an absolutely stellar spoken word artist. We'll learn more about the experience of Black people from a father, military veteran, and law enforcement trainer to increase our social understanding and amplify the cohesiveness of our communities. So thank you so much for being here tonight, and we will get ourselves moving here. So here's the session outline. This is basically just an overview of our evening together. Tonight we'll introduce our speaker. We'll then view a slam poetry performance from our talented featured presenter. And then throughout the evening, Mallory and I will hold little kind of micro interview conversations. And through that, we'll kind of explore some of the themes that he's been discussing in his work and tease out some of his thinking around his poetry. And lastly, we invite you to record your own questions and themes that you'd like to bring up for discussion. Because at the end, we'll have a whole group Q&A where you can ask Mallory any questions you have, provide any feedback or commentary, and just kind of present your thoughts. So before we start, I'll just share a brief introduction of the presenters tonight. Hi, my name is Chris Wolonsky. If you're not familiar with me, I operate as the director of programs and partnerships for Peace Through Action USA. That's the nonprofit organization that is holding this event. And I'll tell you a little bit more about us. And then we also have with us this evening, Mallory McHenry, who is our featured guest presenter, and amazing slam poet. So we'll learn more about Mallory in just a moment, but first I'm just gonna let you know a little bit more about the nature of our work at Peace Through Action USA. So we activate and equip Americans to implement practical, peaceful solutions to aggression and violence in their communities and our country. We do this through a variety of means and activities, most of which involve social engagement and civic engagement as well. So we have a primary site with which we work, which is called the Calvert Peace Project. And I'd like to just highlight our main donor and sponsor right now, Broadview Church. We have a few members from Broadview here tonight and just want to really thank them. And their mission is to grow deeper and broader in our spiritual lives while partnering to meet needs in our community. They've been serving Calvert County since 2003. And Peace Through Action is a national scope organization, but we have a local peace project in Calvert County, Maryland, whose mission is to increase understanding, collaboration, and community among youth and adults in Calvert County by providing civic and social engagement activities with a focus on peace. There's a wide range of activities that we do at the Calvert Peace Project, this being one of them. So if you are attending this event for the first time, please feel free to stay abreast of other events that we have in the future. We have some really exciting things this year that we're really eager to share with everyone, both locally and nationally. So I'd like to introduce Mallory McHenry. I can read this about him, but he's welcome to say hello as well.
Hello.
So Mallory is a father, a national poetry slam champion, a Black law enforcement trainer, and accomplished military veteran who served for 15 years in the United States Army and rose to the rank of captain after multiple deployments in combat zones abroad. He now operates as the Director of Homeownership for East Akron Neighborhood Development Corporation. Mallory has performed as a touring spoken word poetry artist for over a decade. He is the recipient of the International Poet of Merit Award and contributed to the world record holding World's Longest Poem for Peace. We here at Peace Through Action USA are very interested in this dimension of Mallory's resume. In 2014, he contributed his skills as both a performer and team coach to the Colorado Springs Here Here National Poetry Team that performed poetry around the United States and went on to win group peace finals at the National Poetry Slam. We have a couple teammates in the audience tonight, so just want to give a shout out to them as well for being here. Mallory has also been a member of the Denver Slam Nuba Poetry Team and performed at the International World Poetry Slam in 2017. He now dedicates his time to amplifying the voices of the younger generation and provides vital guidance for emerging writers and performers. Mallory brings to this speaking event a special talent for bridging intimate personal experiences with wider cultural legacies through the power of poetry. His unique experiences as a father, military veteran, and law enforcement trainer provide this event's commemoration of Black History Month with a necessary and vital perspective. Mallory is motivated to contribute to this event because he strives to open minds with the potency of his voice. So with no further ado, I would like to thank Mallory McHenry for being here tonight.
Thank you, Chris. That was a beautiful introduction. Yeah. I really appreciate it very much. It is really an honor and a privilege to be able to be here with you all this evening and to share a little bit of my work with you in an intimate setting. So with that, I'll go ahead and start with a poem, and we will just go from there. And after a couple of pieces, Chris and I will engage in some dialogue about them and continue to share more of my thoughts and my words with you. So this is called Next Year. This year is going to kill you. You may call me fortune teller or grim reaper. Call this a prophecy, crystal ball turned black. Just don't go chasing next year. It's the same old ugly. Didn't your mama teach you nothing? Not every game is worth the prize. See, when we win park rides in police wagons down Baltimore streets. Heard tell cops travel at breakneck speed. Heard tell knees can make a noose of a necktie when kneeling on the back of your neck. Heard tell feels like you're auditioning for your life. See, when we win, it's to lose dominoes and our lives in spades. To hold world records at Hangman. We get boxes of Cracker Jack jumpsuits as door prizes, get toe tags inside body bags because we played freeze tag too well. See, even when we win, we lose. So before this year ends, I want you to tell someone that you love them. Smile, forgive, dry clean your casket suit. You won't get to wear old age. You will be the one the poplar tree roots out of the ground with curled knuckles, the one the willows will weep over. See, reading palms is easy on dark skin. The lifelines are always short. See, I know the future. It reads a lot like the present. It smells a lot like the past. You will be the black brown body spray painted red. And this isn't fiction or hyperbole or storytelling or make believe. This is just the facts. This is just yesterday's news. Only tomorrow it's shown on YouTube, and it won't matter if you are a grown man. It won't matter your birthday. It won't matter if all lives matter or if it was only yours that didn't. See, I know the future. Every day we live is a lottery, but you will bite the bullet. The questions will be, how many bullets did it take to paint your outline? Did we capture it on camera? What do we call you now? Thug? Graffiti? Art? No, I can't actually see the future. But I know just as sure as I'm sitting here, you're going to die this year. The only thing I don't know yet, tell me your name. So this next piece is called The Glass. And then after that, I'll open it up for Chris to ask some questions. When confronting conundrums, whether the glass is half empty or half full, we laugh like an inside joke because only family would know that good china is only for exceptions, like for special guests, and only for Sundays and holidays like Easter and funerals. In the South, delightfulness can capture rainbows, prism them in crystal of mint julep, lemonade, and whiskey sours, and salted rims make everyone feel fancy enough to click their teeth. Nobody cares about half empty when a glass full of ice cubes can clink a metronome that orchestrates conversation. So the glass is always full, so full of life, full of song and laughter, so long as somebody is talking. And heaven so bright she shines full sun, and the light breeze rides paper fans hovering over empty plates and full stomachs, and stories about that one time when Junior thought he was grown, but he forgot who he was talking to, and Mama took her shoe back from the back of his head, and we all laughed. Drain our glasses of lemonade and sweet tea. Delightfulness is full of platitudes. Bless his little heart. Po child. How delightful until it's not. When rainbows escape the prison of their glasses, it's delightful until they stop pouring. Refills stop flowing once the ice is melted. Everyone can see how quickly the mint julep tarnished this moment meant for a separate occasion like that promotion that never came 3 years ago. Promises like health and care sound more lemonade stand turned lemon lots. They sold it and we bought us lemons with loans so sour we don't have the stomach to pay for it. Our half empty is always full once we run out of stories to tell. When someone remembers how the dead still laid up in the other room, nobody asks about the empty chair. Nobody is surprised to hear mama drop her glass and the glass shatter like the clock struck midnight. The light is only a dream when half full or half empty is the only thing that matters. Nobody cares about half full. Black folk know an empty stare when they see it. But ain't polite to talk epidemic versus the drug war, because that's politics and race cards. And empty platitudes like, ain't that delightful? Bless your little heart. Let go and let God reminds us to stay in our place, reminds us of our duty to forgive in order to respect the dead. But ain't no light left, just dread. Our hearts are all broken because that boy is still dead. This all that's left of grandma's china. Glass keeps breaking everywhere. We are full up on special occasions and we're running empty on chairs. Captain Obvious ain't family, but points to a half empty glass and tells us he could understand us better if we saw the glass half full. Awkward conversations get empty quick when we run out of tongue to bite. When we say you don't get to tell us what kind of glass we are made of, or what has been spilled in or poured out of us. When we say that ice don't even clink the same in solo cups. Delightfulness ain't just whistling Dixie now. In the South, truth serum comes out in platitudes that beat around the bush. Quit your belly aching, like this ain't turpentine. Stop raising Cain like the dead just playing possum. To hear them tell it God don't like ugly, like this was ever beautiful. But still we make it so. We bring out our best china. We turn cornmeal into cake, turn tears and shattered spirits into songs, sing them like we are God's children, tell ourselves that this was God's plan the whole time, drink to bittersweet memories, no point in toasting the future. So when we laugh like an inside joke with the punchline gone bad, like you told a dad joke but forgot you took away the dad, don't ask what was funny. This stopped being about the glass half empty or half full a long time ago. And if the truth be told, I'm just not thirsty anymore.
Thank you for sharing that, Mallory. I want to invite everybody to share any reactions they felt with a little icon in the chat as I have and as I have done here. But thematically, something I noticed in your work, Mallory, seems to be kind of generational, a generational theme seemed to emerge, at least in those two for me, primarily around like young Black men and the experience of young Black men historically, and I'm curious if you had any thoughts on that as a father yourself. I know that's been something that has been a factor for your work or a major influence in how you approach poetry.
Yes, so I write about everything. And a lot of my inspiration has been drawn from my family. I have 5 kids, and they are an amazing group of human beings, which I will be happy to share more anecdotal stories about them through some of the poems that I'll read tonight. And coupled with that is my concerns of what it's like for me growing up in the country that I love, and wanting what is best for my kids, and what, not only that, but paramount to me is that they're safe and that they get to enjoy living this life, and that I can provide for them the best type of life that I can, and raise them the best I can, like my parents did for me, who happen to be on here tonight. So, mom and dad, Tiffany and Philip, my siblings, I love you guys. And along with, let me take a moment to shout out to my teammates and uh, poetry family. I love you guys, and thank you for being here tonight.
Yeah.
So with that, I'll go ahead and share another poem along that line. It's called "Motivation for Black Boys," and that you'll see a theme running throughout. If you want to win, run. Like Usain Bolt has been running away with records since runaways had referees. Lady Justice never opens her eyes. She does not see race, nor sees how you are pressured to run in one. Understand the referee uses guns to start races. Speeding is the fastest way for the referee to end your relay. To question the referee, the rules, the race, or the gun is to play the race card. Don't. To win, moonwalk your existence back until America is great again. Lighten your shade till Zimmerman is no longer suspicious of your shadow. But if you ever hear the referee say, "Run, boy," you better run. Like the 2 seconds Tamir Rice got off the starting line, like you only have 1 minute, like this poem, forget about winning. Justice is not watching, just run. You already know what happens if you don't. So I will um, open it up for questions, particularly with that poem. Um, and like if you have any thoughts you want to share about that particular piece before I kind of switch gears a little bit in some of my work.
I have a observation or a reflection. I seem like even the running is a problem. Even the running is problematic. Running from the police is we've seen too many incidents just in the last 2 weeks, I think, of police brutality when people were seeking to exit the situation by running. So seems whether a Black person stays in their vehicle or exits the vehicle or stays with the officer or departs from the officer, that there's no there's no safe choice.
And I think that's what you just said is really kind of encapsulates the fear. I know that as a former military police officer, um, I know that I'm a good person, I'm a decent person. I know that my children are good kids, and the any interaction with law enforcement, unfortunately, is there's a level of adrenaline that as soon as you just think anytime you see the flashing blue lights, there is a level of dread that accompanies that. As a young Black man, and I'm gonna continue to call myself young, you know, I was always taught, you know, have your hands at 10 and 2, don't move your hands, don't reach for anything, don't grab anything, just hands at 10 and 2, don't make any sudden moves. And anytime that I drive around, you know, I think about that. But when my kids aren't around and they're out there and they're just going to a friend's house, they're just, you know, doing what kids do. I'm not worried about all of law enforcement. I'm worried about that one. And the problem is, you never know when you're going to encounter that one. And that's what scares me, is you can't, there's no protection from that. So I think someone had asked what the name of that last poem was.
Yes.
And it's called Motivation for Black Boys.
I thought the use of language, the way you tied, you know, the running a race and race, the use of the gun, the imagery, I thought it was terrific. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Hi there. I just wanted to make a comment. This is Sherry talking. Sorry, I'm a little camera shy. I just wanted to tell you, I can't comment on like the technique of poetry or the use of similes or metaphors or anything like that. That's not who I am, but I can tell you how something makes me feel. And it evoked feelings of sadness that there has to be that worry for that one person that you encounter. And for some of the youth that I work with, this is something they share with me about their thoughts and their feelings and their fears. And coming from a place of privilege, I'm always looking for new ways and new things to share with them. And I'm really fortunate to be here tonight and to experience this. It's just another tool in my toolbox. So I thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for sharing. So I know that those particular poems that I've started with have been heavy, but that is what I feel in my existence on a regular basis is heavy. But there are some lighter moments. And so I'm going to share with you a poem called Gaze on Us, and about what I hope for. I say we should just take the roofs off of our houses and let it rain. For once, just wash ourselves with the tears that must surely fall from the eyes of a God who must sit back and wonder, wow, I've truly made a masterpiece. And it doesn't matter if you believe they did or not, just breathe, dream something and go do it. Because everything you do, from hunting and gathering in the Andes Mountains to building skyscrapers in Dubai, is truly a phenomenon. And I don't know if there's any truth to us using only 10% of our brains, but when we want to, we can give 100% of our hearts, and we don't even have to try. Let the stars finally see us naked. Let them take pictures of us. marvel at the contours of our lines, the rise and fall of our lungs, give them a reason to want to come closer, cross over galaxies, step over light years, just to see why the Earth would want to stay this close and remain so far away from our sun. I want to believe that there's still beauty in the symmetry of the chaos that we create, because I am so far from perfect. And yet I have managed to father the most beautiful creatures on this planet, and they are messy. Their rooms look like landfills. They've already mastered how to create mountains, mostly by using clothes. They walk through valleys of toys like giants. They can't eat peanut butter and jelly without breadcrumbs glued to their faces. If they want to show off their smile when they are older, they're going to need braces, and their smiles have that gap between the upper front teeth. It came from my side of the family. Yes, I gave them that, and they will hate me for it, but it's beautiful. And what's so beautiful is that we don't really need books to break down the molecular structure of our makeup, to map out our DNA, to retrace the steps of our ancestors, just to ask them, how do we become ourselves? We should just break every rib, just so that our hearts, if only for a moment, can feel like they are, for once in a lifetime, feel like they're actually free. Throw our iPhones at the walls of our cubicles, kick them over just to see who's on the other side, because their lives are just as awesome, but they may need you to remind them of that. We should get our faces out of Facebook long enough to say hi to the person sitting next to us. Their life story could really make you appreciate yours. I really want to believe in the beauty of the chaos that we create. So I say we take every newspaper article written about our hatred and destruction, burn them, and plant the ashes in the barren spots of our souls to grow something worth remembering in its place. I say we should just take the roof off of our houses, gaze into the heavens, and let the universe see us as we should see ourselves, as living, breathing miracles. So I'm flipping around. I put together a little binder of poems that I would share with you all tonight. I have practically 1,000 poems, and so finding poems to share with you all is not a problem. But finding ones that I wanted to bring forward tonight was a bit challenging. And so this is a haiku that I'm going to share with you all. It's called Headline News in Cleveland. My kids played outside. No police were called on them. Martin's dream is real. So I'm going to shift gears a little bit here and share a poem with you all that has to do with my military experience. And I would say that it encapsulates my of what it feels like coming out of the military and trying to civilianize yourself again. It feels like coming off of a deployment, and mental health is a real struggle to maintain in the military. And this is something that we should definitely take serious, particularly for veterans. And so this is called How to Deal with Flies. They say you might not come home the same person when you leave a war zone. They say transition can take time, and this is normal. They talk to you about PTSD, about shell shock, about not giving in to your demons. They tell you to get help. Let me start by saying, I am not a hero. I don't have PTSD. I was just lucky to not die. I was not wounded nor traumatized, and I hate flies. Flies smell of death and war. For those who have never been, death and war smell like dirt and gunpowder. I love the smell of gunpowder. Only gunpowder sometimes smell like the grenades you threw at God because prayers don't seem to be working. I'll never forget Smith, how his blood-drenched clothes made the plastic bag feel like a water balloon, smelled like wet copper. Flies got drunk off his bloodstains for days. I celebrated New Year's in Iraq one time and Anderson died. When you leave a war zone, they never tell you how to get rid of this smell. Like apple pies remind you of America and grandmother's house and hope, death smells different here. Formaldehyde and clean. Death is open casket closure filled with storytelling and laughter and food and remembrance. I still see her sometimes. The Disney princess cadaver discarded for Snow White. No one kisses little girls missing the back of their skull. Flies smeared their bloody footprints across her face and make a mockery of her future. I don't dream much. Dreams are expensive, and I have seen what can be done to dreams if you tell people they are precious. They warn soldiers, you might come home different from war. Your families were fine without you. PTSD mixed with alcohol is a suicidal combination that smells so inviting. Seek counseling if you have problems adjusting. But they never talk about the flies, how they're everywhere. And I hate the way they smell. So with that, I'll share another poem, and then I'll open it up for discussions. Um, this is in dedication to a friend of mine who, Major Chris Nogle, who committed suicide. And this is just mainly a follow-up, if you will, from the poem I just shared. But this is called Losing Count. He committed suicide. 3 seconds to say the words. 5 minutes of explanations. I didn't need the explanations, but understood the need to find meaning in full breaths. Counted backwards from 10. Somehow we could together counter the clock, rewind all our steps back far enough, break rank, argue, fight, punch you in the chest, step out of formation, grab you by your body armor, butt heads, swear on our lives we had your six. That's where we messed up. 5 years since I saw you, lead from the front, made me want to follow, assumed you were strong enough for the both of us. But I stopped counting the signs, stopped scanning my sector, abandoned suicide watch, 3 to 5 second cardinal rule. Cover me while I move. I've got you covered. Instead, no one replied. 'Cause who needs battle buddies when the battle is all but won? Kamikaze or not, Committing suicide is still a mission. Live fire exercise, no backup. You stacked against the building, shotgun breached your head, cleared every demon in the room. Heard you stuck the landing, sir. Military movement manner, all drill and ceremony we learned to do by the numbers. About face, have right, face, present, arms, order, arms, ready, port, arms, ready, aim, fire. Front leaning, rest. 3 words, count them. 1, he. 2, killed. 3, himself. Jams me like a 50 caliber machine gun, blown barrel full of brass, pinned chest full of metals, spinning out of control, no headspace for timing. Now I puzzle pieces over the memories, looking for peace that's missing you. Sir, we have holes in the formation that we can no longer cover down. There are too many fallen comrades to cease fire. 22 soldiers statistically per day drop guidon for bugle's call, and nobody left to call attention.
Thank you for sharing that. I feel like our work in this organization is often very locally focused, and I think this poem really highlights the severity of conflict and violence that our armed service people encounter. And I find it personally hard to relate to in a way. It's so kind of arresting. And yeah, just personally felt a little bit just kind of like lost for breath and lost for words, really. Not necessarily interpreting and just receiving really what you have to say. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. So I will share a couple more, and then we can open it up to the audience to ask questions, and maybe a couple of poems in response to those questions, and then you all can enjoy your evening. So this particular poem, I had a friend named Kenneth who had an altercation with law enforcement out in California. Don't know what happened to him. He died, but I didn't find out about it until a year later when Facebook gave me, it showed up as a memory on my timeline. And I think about Kenneth quite a bit. And this poem is for Kenneth Williams. God created the universe out of nothing. Everything we know started with a big bang. If either of these statements are true, then the last bang that Kenneth heard was loud enough to create brand new worlds. News reported rumors it was suicide, domestic, death by cop, then closed your cold case faster than photographs captured the Armageddon of your final breath. And nobody still knows nothing. Maybe the media thought you were fake news. I hope you didn't think I was a fake friend. What I remember most about Kenny is that he didn't have much, but he had big dreams. There was an art to fading hair. Lineups could be picked up out of lineups, and a brother stand out for looking clean. I don't know if he was depressed or if he ever got lost on the razor's edge. Last time I asked him what was wrong, he faded a smile, and I swear to God, he said it was nothing. At the time, I didn't think enough of Kenny to ask a second time. Understand, Kenneth was larger than life. Kenneth was every bit a Rembrandt. Kenneth was just one of many black boys to die loud enough to become a god, but not loud enough to get a hashtag. He was too loud for statistics to ignore, but not loud enough for us to get his story straight. I wonder how creative he became with all of that nothing. I bet the pearly gates of his heaven are made up of alabaster bones and ashes of black and brown bodies not beautiful enough for this world. There are days when I feel the weight of my own nothingness. During those times, I wonder if I too have saved up enough empty days. I wonder if my skin is dark enough to be gunpowder. I wonder if the bang would be loud enough to get a white god's attention. I worry that heaven requires citizenship, but I was not born there. Being a dreamer isn't enough. And what if God doesn't let any of us in because angels know that murderers and rapists live on earth and earth is on the south side of his border? What if hell is just deportation? Maybe we got this all wrong. Maybe Andromeda is the collective creation of those killed during the Crusades. Maybe Halley's Comet was the first real Amber Alert, a mother on a quest who will not rest until she finds her. I just wish Kenneth was still here. I would ask you to take up more space. Dear Ken, Facebook told me you died when you showed up a memory on my timeline. I'm sorry for not listening. Sorry it took a year and Facebook to notice a black hole had swallowed a whole star. I can still feel the void where you used to be. I should have gotten another haircut sooner. So I will share another poem. This is called Gasoline. And then I will open it up for Chris. My tongue has been victim to the lockjaw, vice grip, and bear trap known as my teeth. We can't stand up or kneel down or protest or riot to get us to communicate. And if we do talk, the conversation is never about it, about the match, the poured gasoline, the bodies piling like firewood. Can't talk about how Michigan Flint strikes steel starts fires, how stealing Philando's chance for justice is a lit bomb with a short fuse. We only get to debate how you think anything we do in response to us dying as unpatriotic. How you meme Martin Luther King quotes, but forget he died the same way. Like guns are never pointed at us, like we run, raise our hands, like we fight back on purpose, like you shot us, like you shoot us accidentally on purpose, like we are just dying for 15 minutes of fame. I bite my tongue because I am dragon. My words are flammable. St. Helen and Pompeii rumble in my belly. California wildfires lava through my chest. I am one more race joke, one more blame it on the victim, one more body away from erupting. Your silence is kerosene. Hatred and apathy are trying to light tiki torches during drought season, and nobody wants to go looking for water. This poem is my extinguisher, my trying to find the right words to get us to talk about this, to talk about the match, the gasoline, the bodies piling like firewood, about saving all of our dreams, about getting some water because there is hope and there is water, but I need you to help me find it. Because once fires are lit, no one gets to tell the fire what it cannot burn.
Thank you so much, Mallory, for sharing your absolutely beautiful poetry with us. So I have begun to share my screen. Hopefully that shows up for everybody. We're going to move now into a Q&A discussion. If anyone had any kind of closing thoughts, I know we've kind of been discussing this whole time, but if you have anything that you'd like to share or any questions you may have for Mallory or subjects you'd just like to bring up, feel free.
Mallory, this is Bob Rieg. I'm just struck by your integration of nature and natural phenomena into so many of your poems. I love that. Halley's Comet as a Amber Alert, and this using fire in this particular one. I'm just interested in what draws you to using those natural phenomena in your work. Are you a lover of the outdoors, or did you grow up with it, or just latch on to, I don't know, what brings that in for you?
Well, I would say art. There's so much beauty in nature, and there's so much power and grace and destruction in the things around us. And I think there's a lot of humanistic elements to those things as well. And so I think it's I think we as human beings, we're like toddlers, or walking around around many things that have the power to destroy us, and we are ambivalent and we are oblivious to it in a lot of ways. And so I try to incorporate those things and themes within my work, because I think it is something that we can all relate to if we really think about it. And so I try to capture that in my work.
This is Kathy Volker. Is there a place where we could access some of your poetry, a blog or a website or a book? Or, I mean, it's really beautiful. I feel like I'm not qualified to comment on it, but it's really moving work.
Thank you. So there are some YouTube videos out there.
Okay.
And I'll put my email in the chat. You're more than welcome to message me. I do have some books. I'm just a terrible self-promoter. And I'll be happy to share my works with you. But I do need to do, people tell me all the time I need to do a website or a blog or something. And
Truly.
So yeah, I'm working on it.
Yes, and just to add to that, we will be sending out an email tomorrow that will have some resources,
Okay.
including Mallory's other works available on the internet. So keep on the lookout for that.
Okay, thanks.
Hey, Mallory, you, I think in your biography, it mentions, or Chris introduced you as working in training law enforcement.
Interesting.
Do you use poetry in your training?
So I did it for a long time, but yes, I started to incorporate it. I found that it was actually it enhanced a lot of the training that we did. I was a company commander of an OSID company, which basically we converted civilians into soldiers, and then we trained them to become law enforcement professionals. And I would, halfway through their training, I would actually bring in survivors of specifically sexual assault and other domestic violence issues, and have them talk to my soldiers and let them use their testimonies and their poetry to enhance the training and give them a why you do this sort of thing. And we found, in fact, we actually had statistical evidence that showed actual drops in issues and more awareness from those soldiers after they heard somebody's story and poetry. And it actually, it worked out extremely well. It's something that I still get asked to come back and do for soldiers. So
That's great. And Peace for Action and Calvert Peace Project were all about practical, peaceful solutions, and using various art modalities, including poetry, is a practical way to increase empathy by listening to stories of other. It's participatory, or can be if it's created with community, and not just professional artists, but community members being drawn in the artistic process. So I just wanted to inquire about that, because this is a great example of an application of an artistic form for teaching of set of values or beliefs, or at least opening up people's consciousness to the circumstances of others. So thank you for sharing your gift, but also allowing me to do a little bit of a quick micro lecture on peaceful practices, and using art as just one of many examples where we can be very practical in our peace building with each other. We don't all have to write
yeah,
letters to Congress or just pray about it. There's other things that can be done.
absolutely. Thank you for commenting.
Mallory, I have a question for you again. This is Sherry. I find it very fascinating that you've been in the military and leadership roles and training law enforcement. How did you get to the place of vulnerability where you can write like this? How did you allow yourself? I mean, because those are traditionally pretty tough roles to be in, and this is like a different side. And to get comfortable with that, have you always written? Was this? I'm just curious. It's fascinating.
Yes. I wrote my first poem in the 4th grade. And I wrote throughout my years for different reasons, but I didn't join the military until I was 26 years old. And I was very good at compartmentalization. And so I would compartmentalize things, but you have all this pressure that builds up in you, and you need an outlet. And so for me, writing was a way for me to sort through, categorize, and kind of understand what it was that I was experiencing. And so I used my writing to help myself, and I found that that I've never been just someone that sits on the sidelines. I've always had to take action. And so it was, if you're going to write about it, be about it, sort of thing. And so I found that writing not only helped me, but it was cathartic to share. And when you have relatable experiences, particularly my military pieces, it took me a long time to get to a place where I was comfortable sharing my poems with service members. I didn't for a long time. And then eventually I got to a certain rank where I could do it and nobody could tell me no. And so that's really kind of how that merged. But I kept it compartmentalized for a very long time.
Well, I'm so glad that you were able to get to a place where you could share with people, because it's wonderful. So thank you.
Thank you.
So I have a quick question. So I am a kind of a healthcare provider. I'm a physical therapist assistant. And so I work a lot with patients, the wide variety of ages, of different ailments, so on and so forth. And I do find that the body holds and stores a lot of our traumas in many different ways, not just physical and illness, but also emotional. And so I have a variety, particularly at this moment, of younger patients that are needing more of an outlet to speak. And I see that you have a youth program that you work with. So I'm based out of South Carolina. Is that something that they can connect with online in terms of working through poetry and learning how to let that out of their body and maybe into some paper and releasing that in other ways? How can I connect them to this kind of resource?
Well, I would say, so what I work with now is a nonprofit that helps people obtain home ownership. But I do know that I have several friends, some who are here this evening, that actually work with youth. I typically do it through speaking engagements, but I could definitely connect you with a few people that are here tonight. If you send me an email, I'll be happy to give you their information, and you all can probably collaborate and do something, because they're currently doing that very thing. So I'll be happy to share that.
Thank you. I'm in a small town in South Carolina, so the resources for certain things are just not available to us. So it's
Sure.
nice to hear and to see such a wonderful way to help that be released. So thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Chris, do you think we have time for another poem?
A short one. We're over time right now, but I think everyone is cherishing the opportunity to listen to you. So I think I'm gonna go with the general tone here that encore.
Okay.
But then after that, we're gonna close out the evening, and I have a few items that I want to bring up to everyone before we close.
All right, awesome. So this is called Of Pits and Peaches. I ate dirt as a child once. The grit cut into my gums, sandpapered my tongue, made a grave of my mouth. I coughed up mounds of dirt, rolled the earth into a ball, discovered no amount of water could wash away this taste. This was to be my first lesson from Mother Earth. You see, this is what a secret tastes like. Once around the age of 8, I ate the newspaper and protested my father for not taking me to McDonald's. It immediately made me nauseous. My stomach punched me and made me give it back. I had bitten into the advertisement, coupons, and the obituaries. In this, I learned lesson number 2. We always sell ourselves back the dead for cheap. They call Natchez, Mississippi, the Devil's Punch Bowl. After the Civil War, Union troops began recapturing emancipated slaves, barricaded them into labor camps, and starved them. When the famine and smallpox began to eat the living, they were not allowed to remove the dead. Instead, Union soldiers gave them shovels and told them to bury themselves where they fell. In 1 year, approximately 20,000 people were killed here. I imagine how easy it must have been to say, get over it. I mean, slavery was so last year. Get over it, like it isn't a hurdle America keeps tripping over, like this pit isn't deep enough to bury us. And isn't this the very definition of irony? How easily we will let someone kill us if they call themselves our savior? How easily we would kill the things if we say it is humane, say it is justified, say it is a sacrifice. Today, the sweetest peaches grow from this mass grave in Natchez, Mississippi. Locals refuse to eat them because of the dirt they grew out of. In response, when the Mississippi River floods, she will swell herself into a spine to give the dead a backbone. She vomits their bones, standing shoulder to shoulder along her shorelines to remind us of all the things we have forced her to swallow. And nobody looks or remembers. We pluck the bones up by their roots like teeth, bury them under our pillows and textbooks in hopes that a tooth fairy is still willing to pay for ivory. Whenever we see a child, a grown man eat the dirt, lick his own blood out of the chalk line, we talk about how we don't see color, like their blood isn't even red. We change the subject. We philosophically question whether black on black dirt was ever even a body. Can it really even be dead if we never believed that it had a life to begin with? When I first learned of the Devil's Punch Bowl, I was asked if I would still eat peaches if I knew they didn't really come from Georgia. Yes, peaches are my favorite. The best ones come in a can. The syrup makes it go down easy as lullabies we tuck into our textbooks for tooth fairies to collect. And I swear I can taste all of our dirt by the way the secrets cut up my tongue. It tastes like advertisements, coupons, and the obituaries. And the hard truth at the pit of this peach is this admission. All of us would still eat this fruit so long as we don't have to do any picking of these peaches ourselves.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that last one. I feel like we really needed to hear that. I think that really put a beautiful kind of the historical legacy that we're that so many of these poems kind of inhabit, um, and put that into perspective.
Thank you for having me. This was really an honor and a pleasure to be able to share with you all this evening.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much, Mallory. We're really grateful for your presence at this event and your contribution to our work. And that was absolutely just incredible. So thank you so much. And for our listeners this evening, thank you so much for your insightful reflections and inspiring responses. Please visit our webpage for this event, which will be sent out tomorrow in an email for you. That will include some resources related to Black History Month, as well as some more required reading for Mallory McHenry's work. Briefly, I would like to just discuss some opportunities for engaging with us. You can sign up for our newsletter. You can follow us on social media, Peace Through Action USA. You can attend a speaker and film discussion events such as this. We also do a book club once a month, which is a really great opportunity as well. We do service projects as well as working with youth. I know there is some discussion around youth, so that's something that we are really focusing on right now. So if you see a possibility for us to present at your group, feel free to reach out. I'll have my contact information at the bottom here. Promoter events, if you can, donate either space or supplies, or donation of money always helps. It allows us to have speakers such as Mallory tonight. So a little goes a long way in that regard. Also regarding dialogue, we are doing a peaceful dialogue series. So for all the people who are familiar with Calvert County, Maryland, in the audience tonight, we will be rolling out a program with the library system where we'll be guiding kind of scaffolded conversations to support mutual respect across differences, bridging across the negative effects of polarization. Again, we have a youth program, which we're doing right now. And in the summer, we are having a summer experience. So please, if you know a high school age youth who's interested in peace building and perhaps working with slam poetry, because your programs director is also very well versed in the poetry world. So that's something that we're really excited to share with you. Lastly, I would like to post a survey for everyone to complete. If you could do so now, I'll also include that in an email tomorrow if you don't have time tonight. I know we're already over time. So just including that, it helps us kind of gauge our work. It allows us as a nonprofit to do our nonprofit thing. So thank you so much. Here's my contact information for the project, as well as personally. I can be reached at programs@peacethroughaction.org. If you really enjoyed this, it sounds like we had a really great evening, and I'm really thrilled to see everyone here tonight, and I'm just so in awe of Mallory as always. So thank you so much, everybody, for attending our event this evening, and we look forward to seeing you throughout our robust schedule of events, activities, and programs in 2023. Thank you, everybody, and have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. And I'll be here if you have any questions. I'll stick around. Do you have a question, Caroline?
I do.
Yeah.
Just wanted to get information to Mallory, or trying to like, what's the best way to exchange emails or so on, or it may be better to like contact you later, Chris. I can do that.
Yeah, sure. Reach out to me and I'll pass Mallory's info along to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Mallory, that was beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Hey,
I really do.
hey, Chris.
Hi. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, I got the gang here. Pleasure
Aw.
being with you guys tonight.
So happy you're here. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We thank you.
Appreciate you hosting him.
Oh, thank you. How are y'all doing?
Okay, we're making it pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I'm happy to hear that.
I'm functioning well. It's sort of like the picture I saw on my Loma group where they had a busted sink and it was all cracked, and they showed the faucet on and the water running,
Yep.
and they said I'm functioning well.
Oh, I relate to that. I relate to that image. Definitely. Well, that's good.
He's still here.
So, is he still on?
I think so. I think Mallory's still here.
We'll call him later. We
Okay.
really enjoyed it.
We just enjoyed it, and we thank you for doing it.
Oh, thank you so much. I would love to catch up with you both sometime.
Yeah, you have to come back to dinner again.
Yes, definitely. That would be awesome.
Amen.
I'm happy to hear that you're doing so well, and I would love to. I'm curious, if there's been any new developments in your life.
Well, we just thanking God.
Well, I keep having one miracle after another, considering.
Good. Well, you're deserving of that. So
sharing somebody, it was 2014. They told me I had 2 months to live.
Wow.
And still here praising God and kicking it.
Yes. Yes.
So I can't complain.
That's great.
All right. Well, we're going to sign off and look forward to seeing you sometime soon in the future.
All right. You too. Thank you so much.
Okay. Lord bless.
All right. You too.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye. Hi, Melanie. Did you have anything you wanted to talk about or any questions you had? Oh, I think you're muted. There's a little on your Zoom.
Yes, I see.
Cool.
Very powerful, very powerful.
Yes, most definitely.
Each poem, especially the last line of each poem, how it sort of tied things together. Let's see. In the one motivation for Black boys, the last line was just run. You always know when you don't. I really enjoyed it. This was an excellent program.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm thrilled that you feel that way.
Very, very good.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you so much for introducing this dynamite poet.
Yes, of course.
Does he ever?
Yeah, all the thanks go to him, honestly.
Where is he? He's in Ohio?
He's in Ohio, yes.
Does he ever? It'd be great for him to come to Calvert County.
Yeah. Oh, that would be amazing.
Oh, gosh. Well, I look forward to your next program from Calvert Peace Project.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we're thrilled that you attended tonight, and I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. All right. Okay, I'm gonna close out here, guys. Thank you so much, and this was an amazing evening, and I'm just so happy to have everyone here. So signing off and see you next time. All right.